Phenomena. Phenomena. Phenomena.
Let me tell you something. Y'all keep texting my phone number. The number is... I've had this number for 13 years, and I'm not one of your patients. I'm going to nicely ask that you stop because it's considered harassment. And if you don't stop texting my phone about chiropractic messages that I don't even see a chiropractor for, me and my husband are going to press charges. So with that being said and done, you have a blessed day and get my number out of your goddamn phone box. The goddamn idiot, the goddamn Trump lover, goddamn God bless you.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of most ages, as we normally like to say, welcome back to another episode of Don't Be So Brewed. Scott, I'm proud to say that we are now the #1 podcast in Richardson. Statistically proven fact. So,
That's
you know,
huge.
it's kind of a big deal.
There.
That's where we're at now.
Nice. We made it.
For people who are watching this, we're actually live on location. This has been a very interesting experience for us. We're out here at Tongue in Cheek in Richardson.
Yep.
Hanging out with Brett. And I'm here with my bro host, of course, Scott Zimmerman.
What's up, everybody?
And, you know, all my, Dr. B, it's fine. You guys already know
That is a
me.
shade of blue, isn't it?
It is a shade of blue.
Excellent.
I've got my shoes on for you. Don't worry. They're burgundy.
50 Shades of Blue?
Yeah, 50 Shades of burgundy,
That's
just
sad.
for you.
That's sad.
Listen, so real quick, I think everyone, like last week, I got some good feedback that everyone loves to know what we're going to talk about or what we're going to do on this episode.
Yep.
We kind of have a rough idea, but listen, we always tell everyone to strap themselves in for the roller coaster. We don't know where this thing's going to go. Your wife already told me some really interesting stories about you, so I'm preparing myself for what's going to happen.
She kind of ratted you out.
I was kind of hoping I would get some insight to what's going to be talked about tonight.
So tonight, I want to talk
nothing.
about the fact that it's National Chicken Wing Day. I want to talk about the side of the bed that you sleep on. I want to talk about a fun little play on a Marvel character in the Marvel movies and what's going on with that.
Okay.
I want to talk about ridiculous ice cream requests, of course, because of where we're at.
Like chicken wing ice cream?
Yeah.
That would be pretty good, right?
The craziest prank you ever pulled. And which board game describes your daily life. These are just a couple things we'll go over. Plus, ladies and gentlemen, Scott came prepared with our favorite game, the 20 Questions game, where we're going to get to know our guests a little bit more. So, Brett, why don't you introduce yourself, tell them a little bit more about you, tell them about where we're at, all the fun stuff.
And
Well-
don't be shy.
Name is Brett Smith. We've been open now we're on our third week in the ice cream industry. I work here for the city of Richardson as a firefighter.
Nice.
I've done that for 23 and a half years. I thought it was 24 and a half. Pulled up my statement. I was like, dang it, I still got another year and a half before I can retire. I really thought I was retiring in 6 months. But
You really...
I really did. And I was like,
So when
dang
did
it,
you
I got
find
it.
that out? Like, was this recent?
It was like a week ago.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah.
Oh,
So I was
man.
I was like at the end.
When you double-check deadlines and
at
you're
the
like,
end of the
uh-oh.
year.
It's like, honey, I swear I didn't
Yeah,
know.
at the end of the year, I'm like, wait a minute. It's only 23 and a half years. We got another year and a half.
So what... Does that put you... Is that Station 2? Is
Station
that right?
2, right there, Waterview
Yeah.
and Arapahoe.
I was about to say a friend of
Yeah.
mine, Billy Hartman, he's at Station 1 in Farmers Branch, but they live over here in Richardson, so he's a firefighter too. Thank you for your service, obviously, to the
Thank
city.
you.
We appreciate that.
Absolutely. It's been my pleasure.
And, of course, we want to come and support local businesses around the area in Richardson. So what we're going to do to kick this thing off, we normally like to let our guests just get to know you a little bit better. So we've got a little fun 20 questions that Scott will kind of throw at you.
And these are
Answer them
quick.
to the
These are
best
kinda
of your
like
ability.
rapid fire.
Uh-oh.
You know, like, don't let us get on a tangent here because there's some good ones here.
My
that could
brain
be-
moves slow, so.
All right, well, we're gonna test
Perfect.
its limits right now.
All right.
We're gonna start out nice and easy,
Okay.
and then we're gonna just kind of ramp up from there. Favorite color,
Red.
favorite ice cream flavor,
It would have to be anything with chocolate and caramel together.
Do you guys have that here?
We have
I'm
a
assuming.
Don't tangent. Don't tangent.
salted chocolate caramel.
Listen,
good.
we get. Listen,
I had that
this is
last
our
time I was
this is
there.
our first like big promotion of another business. People need to know that when they decide to sponsor the Don't Be So Brewed podcast, that we will do a really good job. So I'm trying to see how many times I can pull our hashtag cheap plug. Sorry, pound cheap plug. Sorry, that's an inside joke from last episode.
That joke is out of the bag.
Uh-huh.
Do you have a middle name?
Landon.
Landon.
God, I was hoping you'd be like, nope. Never had one.
Chocolate caramel. first car?
That was a 88 F. No, the Chevy, the Silverado.
Silverado.
Not F-150.
You guys like have the same kind of vehicle as your first
That's
car.
right.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty awesome. First job?
Selling Christmas trees.
Really?
Nice.
How'd you get into that?
There's a Christmas tree stand, and they said, "Hey, kid, you need a job?" I was like,
Yes,
"I guess."
sir.
Easy as that.
Yeah.
Okay, do you need a job? I do have a random question. Listen, this
Was
just
this
came
in
in. I gotta
Texas?
go.
Yeah.
Was it here?
In Forney.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I grew up in Forney.
Nice.
Spent
Well, see, there you go.
First,
Hey, kid.
first 30 years of my life there.
That's how I got my first job. I mowed yards. My mom was like, "Hey, a friend of mine needs their yard mowed. You're gonna go do it." I was like, "Okay." That was kind of how mine started.
Yeah.
But I do have a random question I just thought of. Did you start tongue-in-cheek because your mom, when you were younger, was like, "No, you can't have ice cream," and you were like, "You know what? Someday when I get older, I'm gonna have all the ice cream I want."
No.
I love the dramatic
Good
build-up.
question, though.
No.
Last
Dang
TV
it.
series you binged watched?
That was, yeah, probably Dexter.
Dexter. So it's been a little while.
Yeah.
Were you happy with the ending?
No, it was terrible.
I was about to
It
say,
was-
everyone says
yeah.
they hated the ending.
No happy endings for Dexter, huh?
No. You got to go to special places for that.
Yes. Dark windows. Hottest pepper you've ever eaten?
Probably just habanero. I like spicy, but I've never
Not too
really
spicy.
challenged myself to start crying when I eat.
We've got a future guest that has asked us to do a taste test with him live on the podcast doing Carolina Reaper peppers.
We can make a Carolina Reaper ice cream, and we can.
It might be better. Maybe
We
like,
can-
yeah. All right. If you could get rid of one state in the United States, which one would it be and why?
Wow. Look at you coming in with a good question.
Probably Kansas, because there's. I mean, why Kansas?
I had to pick Oklahoma.
I had-
Shit, you know?
You already knew that's why
Right.
he asked that question, because he was going to bring up the BS and be like, "Oh, yeah, because we're going to cut out Oklahoma."
I've been through Kansas once, and it was middle of the night.
Uneventful.
We were driving through. Is 30-mile-an-hour winds, tumbleweed, and I just white knuckle all the way through. And I was like, and there's just nothing there. And as we were driving through Kansas, there's a toll booth in the middle of the highway. That's like, what is this? And it's like clink, clink.
It's like, I believe we need your money now.
Yeah, yeah. I was
Just
like,
just somebody put that out there, as a little, like, nobody really knows that it
Right, I
exists.
was like,
It's just like they,
why
collect
is
a
this
little
here? I was
change
like,
here and
And
there.
it was like 2 or 3 in the morning. I was like, I hope I have change.
Listen, you just go a little bit further north, and all you're going to see is corn. You're just
Yeah.
going to get real familiar with that.
Really fat chick.
By the way, can we just say to everyone, and
Yes.
just to give a big shout out, Zool, for all of you who know, if you don't know, Zool's our producer. It is his birthday, so we would like to wish him a happy birthday. Thank you so much for coming out. Yes. Listen, guys, Zool came out here.
The way he's moving today, it might be his last. So let's really make this one count.
Listen, he came out here and put up with all this, made all this stuff happen, made sure the show still went on,
did,
so we were
because the
very
show must
appreciative.
go on.
On his birthday.
Like he said, no one will ever say he's not a game. He's not
It's true.
playing the game with us here, for sure.
Nobody.
All right, next question. Going stretching here.
Uh-oh.
A penguin walks through the door wearing a sombrero. What does he say, and why is he here?
Hola.
And obviously he's here for ice cream, right?
I was about to say, isn't he here?
Okay. Tough question. Toughest one of the night. How do you make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich?
Double peanut butter,
Okay.
jelly in the middle.
Woo!
So do you peanut butter each slice of bread?
Yes,
And then,
because your bread cannot get soggy.
I like that.
Listen, I'm going to give a little shout out. Somebody requested,
Bread cannot get sour.
somebody that was here, I don't know if they're still here, requested a peanut butter and jelly ice cream, so I'm just putting it
Really?
out there.
All right.
Just an idea.
With the bread or no? That would get soggy then, right?
I
It'd be
don't know if
soggy.
you could pull that off. But wouldn't it be like, I don't know.
I don't know. You get a scoop of the triple berry and a scoop of peanut
Put
butter.
a slice of bread and milk and
Nasty.
eat it after that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
it's,
I'll
that's
pass on
about
that.
what you're gonna get.
Okay, never mind.
If you were a kitchen utensil, which one would you be and why?
That would have to be a whisk
And why?
because it really mixes things up.
Nice. I like it. I like it.
All right, so, sorry, Scott, you've got to have one. What would you be?
I'd probably be a knife. Because I'm sharp.
I wouldn't go that far. Maybe call you a butter knife. You're good for spreading peanut butter.
Well, go ahead. What are you going to tell me? You're going to be a spork? I mean, what's going on?
No way. I'm a spatula.
A spatula?
Yeah.
Would you like to slap the meat?
Sure. Listen, he likes to mix things up. I like to flip them around, all right?
There
You know?
go. And I like to slice it.
You put us together, we're perfect.
I cut
You
through.
get some stuff done in the kitchen.
Do you believe in Bigfoot?
Uh-oh, Daniel Cahill.
I don't not believe in him,
Okay.
but you know,
That is a
Evans.
very you answer.
I have not had any rocks thrown at me, but you know, there's just too many shows to not be true.
That is a very Scott answer. You two would get along
Any
really
interest in
well.
a Bigfoot conference.
I would love to go to a Bigfoot conference.
We're thinking of going. You should come with us.
A friend of ours is actually speaking at it.
Yeah.
A Sasquatch.
Local guy. Local guy.
Depending on where you see the Sasquatch, of course, it could be named different things.
What was the last gift someone gave you?
Nice little tumbler.
Awesome.
Oh,
Be an awesome person.
weird. Scott, do you know who actually gave that tumbler away?
That was kind of random.
Who would provide something really nice like that?
Crazy like that.
Who would make something so cool and personalized for people? I don't know.
Maybe that company, if they could see it.
Oh, Etches.
Yeah, Etches.
Hey, they've been one of our sponsors from the beginning. I really do love them.
Beginning.
The very beginning. They've taken such good care of us.
So tell us, married, children?
Married. My wife works with me day in, day out, and we have 2 kids. And
That's fine.
yeah, this is my last gift right here.
Pretty
Oh.
fancy.
Very nice. 2 kids. One of them works here. He's behind the register right now, and the other one doesn't legally work here, but you know he's here.
Doesn't legally
Yeah.
work
He's
here.
interning.
Because of child labor laws. He doesn't work here.
We got you later. Have you ever found an image of a biblical figure on a piece of toast?
I have not.
Favorite sports team?
It's hard to like the Cowboys these days, but I've got to go Longhorns.
Longhorns?
Longhorns.
If a limo and a taxi were priced the same, which one would you choose?
Limo.
Uber. Yeah.
The crowd says Uber.
Trad says Uber. If you could be any superhero, which one would you be?
That would have to be Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman. All right.
Now that story that you told me makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. We'll come back to that. You want me to get into it now?
I've got like one more question.
Okay,
You know
so
what it is,
so I was told that you're a little self-deprecating and you like to have a little bit of fun on Halloween. Would you know what I'm talking about when I say that?
I've been accused of, as my wife say, being inappropriate.
I've never been accused
Halloween.
of that ever.
inappropriate, like not safe for work, inappropriate, or
Not
inappropriate,
safe
like,
really for anywhere.
Oh, we've got pictures.
Yeah, it's
Oh, okay.
you know as the guys were saying at the fire station. This was a fire department Christmas or
Is
Halloween
this the
party.
thong picture? Is that what we're about to see?
No, that. So I was just a simple bunny that year.
Simple bunny. You
They're not going to be able to see
don't think
that.
they'll be able to see that?
No,
Should
the
we
lights.
just, like, zoom in on
The
it?
lights are too bright. What else we got here? Oh, yeah.
Which people were, it was Honey Boo Boo all grown up, or people
Yeah, a little farmer's stand on those
it
legs
was
right there.
mistaken for Dee Snider also.
Oh, I could see that.
That's awesome.
I could see that. That's
Yeah.
very fitting.
That's awesome. All right, last question we've got. How do you eat a corn dog?
The go-to question.
With mustard.
Is there like any strategy? Like
You got to zigzag it? Just the tip?
You just start at the end. Start at the tip.
Start at the end.
just work your way down.
Listen, he's a basic corn dogger. Just a little mustard.
Yeah.
Scott's like a full submerged guy. He has this whole technique where he wants to like take the lid off of the big bucket of mustard and just go like full dunk.
Yeah, just to mess people up a little bit. You know, it'll make it interesting, and I won't have to go back.
You don't have to
my
re-dip
mustard.
it, right? As soon as that's done, it's like you're good to go.
If you don't look like you got a little bit of jaundice after you're done eating that thing, I mean, you haven't done it right, you know?
Okay, so like I said, it's National Chicken Wing Day. So if you're going to order chicken wings, what's your order? And you have to talk about, do you like boneless or bone-in? It's a hot topic.
What do you think? Is that a pun?
You got to have the
Hot Topic chicken wings?
You got to have the bone in your chicken wing, or it's just chicken strip.
Which means it's processed
right.
chicken.
Yeah.
Usually.
But the barbecue, I love the barbecue ones.
Do you really?
Yeah. You know,
That's probably like my least favorite.
From Texas, everything's sweet. Everything has sugar in it.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I got that craving for that sweet barbecue taste.
How about you?
I gotta go with like traditional, like whatever the like hot buffalo sauce, like whatever that.
Sauce,
yeah, like whatever their traditional of like, hey, if you were just gonna come in and order some buffalo wings, I gotta go all flats. You gotta do the flats. You gotta have that technique where you be able to like slide everything off and pull it off in one bite. You gotta have the whole setup. We call it finger bowling.
Yeah, if you can't eat the wings with one hand, you gotta keep one hand clean.
Yep. One hand stays. Because what are you gonna drink with?
Guy.
Yeah.
With the blue cheese?
Oh yeah, blue cheese.
No, see, I'm good. I don't do any of that.
Okay. How about you, blue cheese guy? Or
If I do traditional, the original, yeah, you gotta do blue cheese.
Yeah, I like the original, but I also like the rubs.
Okay. What do you like to rub on it?
Anything that'll stick.
Oh my gosh. That's one of the worst ones. We have some people that are watching that have been on this show. Anything that'll stick on it. I mean, I don't know. I know you don't know what you'd eat your way out of, but maybe we just figured it out.
Might be chicken wings. I don't know if it's the flap or the legs.
Okay, so I wanted to.
I've got a pretty good chicken wing story.
Let's get into this. You got a chicken wing story?
A recent one.
Okay, let's hear it.
So we went out for wings with my brother, his wife, and my wife.
Mm-hmm.
And we started off at Pluckers, but Pluckers had like a 45-minute wait. And we don't wait 45 minutes for food really anywhere. So we decided we're going to go somewhere else. My brother wanted to head over to Twin Peaks, and me and his wife were like, let's go to Hooters. There's not going to be a wait there because, you know, not everybody likes it. We had like the worst food service experience you could ever possibly imagine. Okay?
What happened?
The waitress just didn't get the job done. Like, she took the order.
Like how she looked, or she didn't actually get your order?
She was very pretty. But she wrote everything down, but I don't know what she wrote on the paper because nothing really came out correctly. She got the drinks wrong, the water never came out, the order came out wrong, the manager was constantly there trying to keep up with it.
Okay, do you ever get stressed out, just really quick, do you ever get stressed out when you give the waiter or the waitress your order and they just do the hands behind your back thing and they're like, yep, and they're like mentally taking note, and I'm like, you're gonna forget like 4 things from what we just told
this
you.
This woman was writing everything down.
But that's the thing, is like she was even writing it down and screwed it up
with the recipe, with the order, you know.
Well, she probably wrote it on her hand, and she was a little sweaty. So
there you go. See,
what is that?
Wipe it on your hands.
Yeah,
you forget.
yeah.
You're like,
I've never seen anything like it. So she comes at the tail end, and she's like, "How would you like to do this? Would you like to have the bill separated or all together?" We said all together. To which she then says,
separated it is.
She was like, the whole table? And I'm like,
no, like half the table.
I'm like, yeah, like the whole table.
No, you wanted a 50% discount. You only count half the table.
So
we'll pay for that.
And we decide we're just going to give her 2 credit cards to split the bill. Right?
You're confusing this poor girl.
Right? So she brings the bill, we give her 2 cards, and before she comes to the table, I said, I'll bet anyone at the table that she asks, when we tell her to split it, she's going to ask, down the middle? So we give her the 2 cards and say, split it. And without fail, down the middle? We're like, yes, down the middle.
Well, what else are you supposed to say? To the right?
I wanted to say 75% this way, 25% this way, don't mix the cards
60-40.
It would have never happened. I mean, we would have both gotten probably charged full price on it. The most interesting part of the story, and so my sister-in-law was obsessed with the Hooters girls' stockings. So she decides to ask the waitress where she gets the stockings. Come to find out that Hooters has a vending machine in the back of the restaurant that sells the stockings. So she proceeds to ask her to buy them for her. So she gave her money, she went back to the vending machine and brought out 2 pairs of stockings.
To which she said, like, 2 pair? Like a pair? Or you just want 1?
It was the only part of the order she got right. And I got to tell you, it was quite amazing because I'm sitting there like, what a genius idea. Selling stockings out of a vending machine at a Hooters. Like,
is that just in the back where
it's just in the back? Like, yeah, like guys like us can't get there.
Yeah, it's kind of like
Halloween
I was
right
like,
now.
hey, I could use some nice quality stockings.
It's kind of like the horses in the back.
But that's how that company got started, with Hooters selling stockings out of a vending machine.
Wow.
Right.
Genius.
So basically, she should have been working at a clothing store, not at a restaurant.
Oh my god.
Because she got that part right.
Dude, for real. All right, I digress.
No, it's okay. So I wanted to get into this whole which side of the bed you sleep on thing. So hanging out with some of our friends, and they proceed to tell us like, oh, they don't know at night, like which. I don't know. I don't even know how we got. I don't know how we even got on the topic, but they're like, we don't know which side. Like we just kind of sleep wherever. And I'm like, what?
Like randomly each night? Like
Yeah, you just like,
it's
like, oh, hey, like I picked this side, I picked that side. And I'm like, how does that work? Like, I feel like for each person, you have like a setup with your nightstand. You've got your charger. They've got like a different one. It's like everyone has to have, you have like your habits and your rituals. Like for me, it got me thinking like, are we too set in our habits and rituals sometimes? So I'm like, to have that and not have my side, like that would really throw me off.
So do you have a set side of the bed?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, what side of the bed do you sleep on?
Well, it depends on.
So
Are
if
you
we're facing
in the
the
bed?
So if you're
or
facing the
looking at
headboard.
I'm not in your bed, but I'm facing your bed.
Yeah, you're facing the headboard.
Well, mine's kind of right on the edge. It's my wife's, the dog's, then I get the far
Sounds
left.
about
Are
right.
the dogs big
left bed.
dogs?
It's one little dog, but
It takes up the whole bed, right?
well, she takes up my spot when I'm gone. And I usually come in late from making ice cream.
So facing the
it's,
bed, you're on the left-hand sliver, then your wife and the dog pretty much command the rest of the space. How about you?
So I'm left side as well.
I'm
Same
left
thing,
side,
little
too.
dog. Weird. Anybody else? Left side? Left
Audience.
side? Which side of the bed do you sleep on, Dr. A?
Facing the bed.
You're facing the headboard. Which side do you sleep on?
Right? Whatever side the door's on.
Exactly. That's a
yeah.
general thing.
No, that's military training right there is what that is. You know what that is?
Technically, I do, so I win.
I'll tell you what happened. I'm chivalrous, so I'll let her go through the door first to make sure the coast is clear. And then I will proceed. I'm old-fashioned. Think about it, You're supposed to let a lady get on the elevator first to make sure the thing don't fall when you get on. I mean...
So when the thief comes up, the man gets up.
The what?
When the thief comes in, the man gets up to go check the safe.
That's right. Come on,
Yeah,
dude.
that's fine. I want to be like kind of hidden. I got to leave you as bait, so as they like, oh, what's this? And get him over the head,
I don't have to go
gosh.
the fastest. I just have to run fast.
I want to leave you as the bait. Goodness. Oh my gosh. Your
See
poor
you
wife.
going there, huh?
Whoops. No, I just thought it was very interesting. Like, do you think we need more variety in our lives sometimes? Like, should we be willing to be more like
Should we
them?
random pick what side of the bed each night?
Actually, he typically slept on the other side, but I stole his side of the bed this time. So he had to readjust his sleeping side.
I just go to where there's a spot.
See, I could tell he's just laid back. He's like,
He's programmed.
I'm just going to go to sleep.
That's funny.
No, I just thought it was very interesting. I'm like, well, maybe my first thought process, of course, was like, that's crazy. I would never do that. And then it's like, well, do we like changing it up every once in a while? Everyone talks about variety is the spice of life.
Change it up. Get to bed before Haven goes to sleep and just jump in on her side and see what happens.
Okay.
I want to report
It's hard
back
enough as
next
it
week.
is. I'm always the one. Yeah. Everybody try this out. Go home
And just
tonight.
go on the opposite
You're
side
watching
of the
this at
bed.
9:09. We know you're going to bed right after this. She might be watching with you, but whenever you get in there, just whoever can get in there first, go sleep on the other person's side. See what happens. Then report back with all the arguments that we started, and then we'll apologize later. We'll fix it.
Maybe.
Maybe.
We have the memory foam, and our bed remembers where my wife sleeps, so it's contoured to her body perfectly. So I can't even fit in that side.
Like a bitch.
Yeah, that's like I don't fit.
He's like, that side wouldn't work for me. It's perfectly fit for her.
It's like
Yeah.
the princess and the pea. She just puts a little pea under there before she goes to bed. That's it. You're done.
All right, so I got to know, have you had any ridiculous requests yet for ice creams or anything like that? I know it's only been 3 weeks.
The ridiculous flavors usually come from me.
So what are some of the
One of
ridiculous
them-
ideas you've tried or thought up?
I try to combine savory with sweet.
Okay.
A lot of times it just doesn't work. I did just do
Barbecue
a
sauce ice cream was not a good
smoked
thing, huh?
cherry with a candy pecan.
That sounds good.
Y'all want to try it?
Ask him about the last one.
Which
The
one?
last one.
The Italian, whatever the
What, like
dressing
spumoni
was.
habanero or what?
Spumoni habanero.
That'd be a crazy one.
I can't talk about that one.
Oh, okay. This might have a possibility
That's some
of
IP.
coming out.
Yeah.
He put some flavors that, he thought it was fantastic, but it made everybody else almost sick.
Interesting. Huh. You need... I'm now thinking, like, this is what we do on this podcast. Obviously, we love to talk about business, and we always come up with ideas. I'm like, I would love for you to, like, have some sort of challenge at some point, whether it's, like, something like that, like, no one can handle, and it's like, well, we made this thing. If you can finish the whole thing, like, you get whatever. Like, you do, like, a little...
Man, like, you know, invent your own ice cream challenge. Let them come up with a name and let the community vote on it.
Yeah. Like a habanero ice cream. It's like, hey, we got this. If you can finish a whole...
With the Carolina Reaper.
Yep.
We've got a spicy sorbet, a tropical fruit spicy sorbet it has the pepper in it. So you take that first bite and you're like, oh, it tastes good. You taste the fruit, then you're like, whoa!
And then it kind of hits you on the back end.
Yeah.
All right.
So when I was talking with David Rogers, he was telling me that the only antidote to the pepper is apple cider vinegar. So I'm thinking like a scoop of like Carolina Reaper and a scoop of apple cider vinegar.
I mean, I don't know if you've ever watched the show Hot Ones. It's a show on YouTube that this guy interviews a lot of celebrities, and they eat 10 chicken wings that escalate in heat, going all the way up to the last one is like 3 million on the Scoville scale. Like they start at like 1500 with like a classic. They're like, oh, this is like nothing. Everybody's like, oh, this is great, and it escalates very quickly. Well, this guy interviews these celebrities, and the reason I love it is because when your mouth is on fire, you can't think clearly. So the filter has been removed, and these people are like sitting there like freaking out, and they're like sweating, and they're uncomfortable, and they're like trying the milk and trying the water and trying all these things, and he's dying, but he still holds it together, and he's like, yeah, so like what was the worst movie that you were ever, like, just asking these really hard questions, and they're just like, you can see him struggling, and they're like, wait, can you ask that again? And you just watch these people kind of go through the struggle, and I'm like, I think it would be very interesting to see if like do something very interesting like that. Maybe we could just do some like big combo of that, like the Casey wanted to come on and do the spicy, like I wanted to bring his stuff. Maybe we just team it up with that and figure out if we can like make some sort of ice cream with it.
Together.
Yeah. And I'd be interested to see. I want you to test out your theory, because I feel like on that Hot One show, my point was, I feel like everyone's tried every version of like, oh, I heard that you have to do dairy and sugar because that does it. So Jack Black, Tenacious D was on and they were like, so we did a Thai iced tea, which is like cream and sugar and all this stuff. Yeah, and he was like, this is not working.
So we can pick like the hottest stuff we could find and then have a bunch of stuff out there and see what takes the burn
there we go.
Quicker. There we go.
And we'll be doing that at the end of the episode, by the way, because we are not going to ruin the entire episode. We're
Scott and I like, we're sitting here like sweating and dripping and losing weight.
We'll give it like the last, like 10, 15, 20 minutes.
So you've just been through 3 weeks of your grand opening.
Mm-hmm.
As business owners, we know getting into this stuff is not easy, or not as easy as it looks from the outside, right? From the outside, they see the sign go up, and they're like, oh, cool, another ice cream shop is coming in, or the restaurant's coming through. What are some of the most challenging things that you went through that you weren't expecting to go through in opening the business?
The getting to the point of opening, so construction, because I did all the work minus the electrical and plumbing myself, so I was up here every night till 2 or 3 in the morning. The time we got our CO, all the stress was gone. This is the easy part to me. Then it's just kind of continual growth from this point. It's been a struggle to get to this point. I've been working for years trying to get to this point, but finally got here, and now let's go.
Let it rip.
I think it was almost a benefit to you that it was almost like people being tempted, but they can't have it yet. I know that sounds weird, but it was like everyone saw that it was coming up. This is a street where everyone drives by a lot. I think everyone saw it, and they were starting to follow you guys on social media.
Mm-hmm.
They were starting to see how all these, like, oh my gosh, I'm looking forward to that. And it was like, hey guys, and you guys I think did a really good job of like, hey, we're working on this, we're trying to get this updated. As soon as we get this approved, like, we're good to go.
Well, it became very relatable, like at least for me, because I was going through the same thing. We were going through the same aggravation with getting to that CO point, and I'm like, we got delayed 3 months. Yeah. We didn't know it as it was happening. We always felt like we were 2 weeks away.
2 weeks.
Just
like the movie Money Pit. How far out? We got 2 weeks.
We bought the building, when did we get it? Late November, and then it was like May 1st when we finally got our CO.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, oh my God, because you got so much going out, and it's not coming in yet. And
it was.
well, when are they going to let me do this?
The day we got our CO, called my wife, and we got it in the morning. I was like, "Hey, we're opening today." She's like, "What?" And, we hadn't even trained employees yet.
Time to get to work.
Yeah, it was just like, let's just...
There was zero training.
Yeah.
And I just sent a message out on our...
Fire ready.
Yeah, I was like, who wants to work today? And we
There
just
you
had
go.
an army of people. And it was,
That's awesome.
There's people all the way around the counter. They're like, y'all have enough employees? And
You're like,
That's
hey,
good.
we're going to make it work. Listen,
yeah,
I mean,
it
that's...
was...
I don't think I had to get a CO, but my big
So you're
delay on
Richardson?
mine... The people from mine take care of all that stuff. Like, I didn't have to worry about that with my setup. But
Really?
my big delay was my X-ray machine. It's the whole trying to get electricity for that. I was promised one thing. We went in and hooked it up, kicked the machine on. It shorted the breaker for me and the 4 offices that surround me because all theirs are loaded to all their stuff comes into my breaker, I guess. And it was this whole issue. And they're like, we didn't tell you that you could do that. And I'm like, yes, you did. I put in my thing that I needed this and I needed 220-volt electricity in this room. And they're like, no, we never said that. You're going to have to pay to get a separate box. It's going to cost $5,000. Oh, it was all this stuff. It was like, I ended up having to scrap the original X-ray generator that I bought, which was a 220-volt. And I never was able to sell it. Basically, it was scrap metal at that point, which was nothing. But basically, I was able to use that with all the other X-ray equipment that I had. But the generator that generates the power for it, I had to get one that basically can plug into a wall into a 110, and it's got a battery bank in the bottom of it, which 2 years into practice also crapped out on me and gave me some issues. And I had to go in. There's about, I think it's 60 batteries on the bottom, and I had to go in and test every single one of them because my machine went dead in the middle of shooting X-rays for someone. It put a delay on me of like 3 weeks. I freaked out. I called my dad. Luckily, he's done enough things where he's like, fix it yourself guy, and he was like, here's what we do, and this is what we figured out. And so he talked me off the ledge, and then he was like, go get this, start testing these things out. He was like, what's the X-ray machine? Luckily we were able to figure it out. Basically, one battery was dead, and luckily by some chance there's a company in South Lake that sells those batteries. I was like, what are the chances? So I went and picked them up, and then with the battery being off or something like that, it fried one of the circuit boards, and so I had to buy that. And luckily I found a guy online that had it. But that's the ups and downs of owning your own business. I think a lot of times it's like, oh, your doors are open, that must be great. Like, it's just the assumption from the outside.
Did you find that going into a location that used to be a restaurant, do you think that was easier to go into? Like, was it set up better for what you would be doing, or
some aspects of it worked out really well. We had a lot of plumbing issues, and we have to, because everything was kind of grandfathered from when the building was originally built. So we had to come in and redo a lot of the plumbing, the electrical, and plumbing just it blew my budget so bad that I wasn't anticipating
That's
all
what
this.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. Yep. Every time you're like, no, it'll be this. And it's like,
And we got a little bonus surprise that when we were doing the initial removal of the concrete to put our floor sinks in, we found a blockage in our line, which was 250 feet away from our building, that when they were finishing the building next or behind us, they poured concrete down into our line, blocked our sewer line, which was 9 feet underground. So yeah, that added.
sounds like a good post-podcast discussion.
Yeah.
yep, that happened to mine. We had a plumbing issue too because there were 2 bathrooms in the back of my office. One of them I turned in my X-ray room, so they capped that line off. But previously, for some reason, whatever happened, we were having issues with the toilet backing up, and they're like, it's because you're flushing whatever. And I was like, no, I'm just not willing to buy cheap toilet paper. This is a discussion that we've had.
You're saying you were full of shit.
Basically. Listen, it wasn't me. It's my
You're
patient's
gonna have
family.
to look at single ply. This double ply is not working.
Right. So
No
basically,
more soft butt for
they
you.
come in and listen, we talked about that on a podcast. That's one thing I'm not willing to skimp on. So what happened, they brought the camera out. So they brought the guy out to try to, clear it out. They would get to a point and he's like, man, it keeps hitting this point. It won't go any further. So they brought another guy out with the camera. Well, the guy's camera goes up and through the floor of the next office building in their conference room. Like, the thing comes up and through the floor, and it's just spinning over there, and they come into our office, and they're like, are you guys doing something over here? They're like, this thing has come through, so it was like a whole issue. They had to close off their entire conference room, jackhammer up the floor, which, by the way, let me tell you, I've got video on my phone of the jackhammer sound radiating through my office while they're jackhammering. And then I'm like, this is really great. I'm like, yeah, just come back here and rest in our resting suite in these very relaxing zero gravity chairs. Yeah, it was great.
So we're
It was a very good time. Luckily, we weren't super busy at that point.
So did you see in the news this 16-year-old kid won this Fortnite tournament? Won
Yep,
like
$3 million.
Hear that, Cade?
Crazy.
This is why we had that discussion about Daniel Cahill. He was telling his kid, he wrote on his kid's lunchbox, it was like, video games is not a career. And I was like, I don't know about a career, but
Like,
you can make money.
Put down the books and start playing.
Who needs college?
$3 million, 16 years old.
And that's just for...
And that's aspirations.
He wants to be a professional.
That's just for a tournament. You talk about that kid Ninja that's like the big kid on that platform. He's set up on Twitch and you get money for subscribers. And it's like he's got enough subscribers that he makes like $4 million off of his subscribers.
Cade, you're not going to make money playing Fortnite interning at the ice cream shop. You've got to make a commitment on what you want to do with your life. You got to do that now.
And we will be your first sponsor when you start to hit it big. We will just jump right on that. We will set up a billboard behind you. We'll get you all set up. We'll get you a gaming chair, the whole thing.
He's in.
See? There you go. We'll get them all set up. Everybody will be jealous. They'll tune into your Twitch channel just for that. This kid's over here. He's 12 years old. He's got some lady rubbing his back while he plays Fortnite. Nailed it. We figured it out.
$3 million.
We need to set up a contract on that. We need to make sure that we get all that set up. No, I saw that just recently. I think that was Sunday.
Yeah, it was recent.
Yeah, literally it just happened, and it's like insane to me. It's like, oh, okay, literally, you know. Especially a lot of times, even in business, we talk about that again. It's just like, man, I got to be making this. I got bills to pay. We got to do all this stuff. And it's like, you see stuff like that out there sometimes. And I'm like, sometimes it's like shocking. And then sometimes it's motivating. It's out there.
Playing video games and making money? Like,
my mom told me I couldn't make money playing video games. What the heck? She lied to me. Okay, last thing that we'll go into, because we said we were going to talk about this.
Yeah, that's right. I'm sorry. I sidetracked you a little bit.
No, it's okay. I want to know any pranks that you guys have pulled, like crazy pranks that you pulled off, stuff that you got away with, anything that you can think of. I'm sure
we already talked about the glue in the keyhole, right?
Yeah, we talked about the glue in the keyhole when you were a kid. Your brother and your wife already gave me that story, so that one doesn't count.
Rats. Those rats.
I mean, whenever I worked, so growing up, mowed lawns, and my second job was working at the grocery store, because I grew up in a small town, and that's pretty much the option that you had. And so we would mess with each other all the time. We would use the pallet wrap, and we would pallet wrap people's cars, like literally to the point where it was like, sorry, I don't know. We would Vaseline the door handle. That was one of the ones that was just more annoying than anything else. This will just add to your major love for Oklahoma, but this was such a place that we felt was safe. Everyone did, just left the keys in the ignition of their car all the time. You'd literally pull up to school, cut your car off, and you just left it right there. It was never an issue. But people would go and take your car, like the football team, we would all jack with each other. Like your car would end up on the football field. Coach is pissed. He's like, Brown, what the hell is your truck doing in the middle of the football field? I'm like, I don't know. Uh-huh. And I'm like, you. See, I need a Zool in my life. You'd be like,
I
I wasn't enough of a smartass then. I didn't have that then. Now it's highly primed for that. I would have been ready. I've been like, I don't know. Why don't you take care of it for me? The keys are in it. So we did stuff like that all the time. I'm sure I'm trying to think.
How about you?
Fire department, there's always some kind of prank. Probably the best one I ever did was when I was a little younger, working in a furniture warehouse, and they had the ramps for the 18-wheelers to load the furniture, and the guy, one of the merchandising managers, always parked right there in the ramp in his little Mitsubishi Eclipse, and me and another guy, they're light cars, so we just got the back and picked it up a little bit at a time, and had his car completely sideways where you could not go forward or backwards. And he came out, it was like, How am I supposed to leave? You know, he was stuck. He couldn't move.
Uber.
Yeah,
Wow.
that was pre-Uber.
Yeah.
The
He said
Uber
he said
did not
Mitsubishi
exist.
Eclipse. That is pre-Uber.
Yeah.
More than likely.
Remember when Mitsubishi was like a popular brand?
Yeah, when they were somebody.
That's right.
I'm also remembering in college one time when I was not making the smartest decisions, the RA, or like the main person that was like overwatch of our dorm, was my positional coach, the tight end and receivers coach for the football team. And we found another RA that had keys where we could get in everyone's room, and so we unlocked his door, snuck into his room, like flipped lights on in there, and we went in there and we were gonna mess with him, and then one of the guys literally bailed and slammed the door behind him while we were still all inside of there. I've never ran so fast in my life. We literally had to sprint out of there, get back to our room. I'm like sitting there, like, he comes in there, he's like, I know that was y'all and you were gonna pay for it tomorrow. I'm like sitting there, I'm like, Coach, I was playing video games. I don't know what you're talking about.
There's like 5 other 6'4" guys in this place. Like, it wasn't me.
Oh, he didn't see me. And there was, yes. That's what happens. We also knew in college that there was some setup with events where if you could, I'm trying to remember, there was some ventilation the way that it worked in the showers where there was a vent, and if you poured stuff into it, it would go into the shower below you. And so people would tell people stuff, we'd mess with people, we'd dump like Kool-Aid on top of people and all kinds of ridiculous stuff because we're dumb like that. Random things, bleach. I'm sure we probably
Oklahoma over here, man.
That was in Kansas, actually, the state that Brett wants to get rid of. So
As of this
for good reasoning now.
As of this podcast, Kansas no longer exists.
Sorry, Kansas, I'm not giving you the best name here.
Kansas has been eliminated.
We already told the toga story last week. That was in the same place. Now we got this one. Sorry.
We're trading Kansas for Puerto Rico.
All right. You're in. Don't let us down.
Welcome back, Puerto Rico.
And we just lost all of our Kansas
Something's on
listeners.
the
We are
way.
now screwed.
Hey, we needed to drop a star anyway.
There we go. What's you got to have something.
Man, I was more of a heckler, I think, than a prankster. You know, like, I was the kind of guy that if someone was having that real bad
You
night,
encourage the prankster. Hey, yeah, do that. Do
yeah,
that.
like I was like the total instigator. So if someone was like having that real rough night, hanging over the porcelain queen, I was the one standing behind him, like, just stick your finger down your throat, man. It'll make all the pain go away. You know, they get throwing up, like, come on, everybody. You know, it was just that kind of crap. Mm-hmm. I wasn't really pulling pranks. We were just
So you were an a-hole. Got
exploiting
it.
situations. No, I still am. That was my training. That's why I went to
Got
college,
it.
see?
Yeah. Makes sense.
I mean, it
Could have been
carried
playing
on.
video
I mean,
games, though.
You know, it's gotten very intense, but yes, total asshole.
We know. I mean, I know. They know.
They should.
The ones that are watching. All right. Hopefully Scott has his final thoughts ready. So, Brett, we will give you your pound sign or hashtag cheap plug moment where you can let anyone know anything that you want about the business, tell people what they can look up, where they can find you, all your social media, set up all that stuff.
Come here, Kay. Come here.
Uh-oh. Special guest.
Special guest. Got a runner.
All right, time's up.
All right, Zool.
So this is one of the dudes that pretty much why I'm doing all this. So this guy,
You should look over there.
he
so
can
they
be
see
an
you.
ice cream guy when he gets older because he wants to eat ice cream every meal. So you can have ice cream. No, but I've enjoyed this. I love the opportunity that I get to work with my wife every day now. I get to work with both my
I
kids.
think he just got 20% more of the bed back tonight. Dog's out.
Dog's out. Dog's back on the floor.
Nicely done.
I love being part of the community of Richardson. And, 30 years ago when I lived in Forney, then I got hired on in Richardson. We moved to Grand Prairie around a little bit. Then, we just were like, why aren't we out here? We just moved to Richardson and we love it here. And we just hope to be part of the community for a long time,
Yeah, man, no turning back.
even after retirement.
We love it. It's awesome. All right, guys, make sure you guys go check it out. Tongue in cheek, come out here. Tell them that the Don't Be So Brewed podcast sent you. I don't know what it'll get you, but you can at least tell them that we told you to go there. All right, Scott.
All right. I got a couple here.
Uh-oh.
They're doozies. They're not good.
That definitely means they're not doozies, as
I'll
Zool is
just
shaking his
start
head.
going, and you tell me when to stop. Okay?
Now,
Nice. I'm gonna let it slide because it's your birthday. I'm gonna let it slide.
So it's like, and now, cut it. Yep.
My friend asked me, what rhymes with orange? I told him, no, it doesn't.
That's a good one. I'll give you that one. I like it,
You want me
yeah.
to just stop while I'm ahead?
You probably should stop while you're
Probably not
ahead.
a bad idea. Unless Zul wants another one. It is your birthday.
Yeah, I've suffered enough.
You're good? Okay.
All right, make sure everyone likes, comments, subscribe, share.
Follows, all the fun
Leave us
stuff,
negative
you know?
reviews if you want. We didn't even get to get into that.
I know.
Mother effing Trump lovers. Zul's going to drop that in later. We'll get to talk about that.
Don't leave negative.
Oh, there's a whole fun thing about that. We can get into a whole nother topic about that. Anyways,
Another podcast.
make sure you guys, as Scott always likes to say, share this out. Let people know. Share it with them.
Like,
share
share,
the love.
follow.
That's right. Make sure you guys go check out Tongue in Cheek. Give them a like. Give them a follow. Make sure you guys come out here and try it.
The ice cream
It's
is
awesome.
fantastic. I know it didn't look like we were eating it because we ate a bunch of it before we started.
It's true.
Yummy! Yay!
I'm Dr. Brandon Brown, and I approve this message.
Phenomena. Phenomena. Phenomena.